Welcome to edupediaworld.com. This is Somja Nair, your online biology tutor. The chapter is Strategies for Enhancement in Food Production. In this video, we are going to discuss about beekeeping, fisheries, plant breeding, etc. What is beekeeping? Beekeeping or apiculture is the maintenance of hives of honeybees for the production of honey. It has been an age-old cottage industry. Honey is a food of high nutritive value and also finds use in indigenous systems of medicine. Honeybee also produces bee wax, which finds many uses in industry, such as in the preparation of cosmetics and polishes of various kinds. The increased demand of honey has led to large-scale beekeeping practices. It has become an established income-generating industry, whether practiced on a small or on a large scale. Beekeeping can be practiced in any area where there are sufficient bee pastures of some wild shrubs, fruit orchards, and cultivated crops. There are several species of honeybees which can be reared. Of these, the most common species is Apis indica. What are important for the successful beekeeping? Beekeeping, though relatively easy, does require some specialized knowledge, and there are several organizations that teach beekeeping. The following points help for successful beekeeping: knowledge of nature and habits of bees, selection of suitable location for keeping the beehives, catching and hiving of swarms, that is the group of bees, management of beehives during different seasons, and handling and collection of honey and of bee waxes. Bees are the pollinators of many of our crop species such as sunflower, brassica, apple and pear. Keeping beehives in crop fields during flowering period increases pollination efficiency and improves the yield, beneficial both from point of view of crop yield and honey yield. Fisheries. Fisheries is an industry devoted to the catching, processing or selling of fish, shellfish or other aquatic animals. A large number of our population is dependent on fish, fish products and other aquatic animals such as prawn, crab, lobster, edible oyster, etc. for food. Some of the freshwater fishes which are very common include katla, rohu and common carp. Some of the marine fishes that are eaten include hilsa, sardines, mackerel, pomfret. Fisheries has an important place in Indian economy. It provides income and employment to millions of fishermen and farmers, particularly in the coastal states. For many, it is the only source of their livelihood. In order to meet the increasing demands on fisheries, different techniques have been employed to increase the production. For example, through aquaculture and pisciculture, we have been able to increase the production of aquatic plants and animals, both freshwater and. What is plant breeding? Plant breeding is the purposeful manipulation of plant species in order to create desired plant types that are better suited for cultivation, give better yield and are disease resistant. Conventional plant breeding has been practiced for thousands of years, since the beginning of human civilization. The recorded evidence of plant breeding dates back to 9,000 to 11,000 years ago. Many present-day crops are the result of domestication in ancient times. Today, all our major food crops are derived from domesticated varieties. Classical plant breeding involves crossing or hybridization of pure lines followed by artificial selection to produce plants with desirable traits of higher yield, nutrition and resistance to disease. With the advancement of genetics, molecular biology and tissue culture, plant breeding is now increasingly being carried out by using molecular genetics tools. I think you all have been heard about Green Revolution. What is Green Revolution? Actually, we discussed about plant breeding here. This plant breeding as a technology has helped to increase the yield to a very large extent. Green Revolution was dependent to a large extent on plant breeding techniques for development of high yielding and disease resistant varieties in wheat, rice, maize, etc. and which help our country not to merely meet the national requirement but also help us even to export it. What are the main steps in breeding and the new genetic variety of a crop? The first and important step is the collection of variability. Genetic variability is the root of any breeding program. In many crops, pre-existing genetic variability is available from wild relatives of the crop. Collection and preservation of all different wild varieties, species and relatives of the cultivated species is a prerequisite for the effective exploitation of natural genes available in this population. The second one is the evaluation and selection of parents, the germplasm. That is the entire collection that is having all diverse allele for all genes in a given crop. That is called germplasm collection. And the germplasm is evaluated so as to identify the plants with desirable combination of characters. The selected plants are multiplied and used in the process of hybridization. Pure lines are created wherever desirable and possible. The third step is cross-hybridization among the selected parents. The desired characters have very often to be combined from two different plants, that is parents. For example, high protein quality of one parent may need to be combined with the disease resistance from another parent. This is possible by cross-hybriding the two parents to produce hybrids that genetically combine the desired characters in one plant. And the fourth one is the selection and testing of superior recombinants. This step consists of selecting among the progeny of the hybrid those plants that have the desired character combination. The selection process is crucial to the success of the breeding objective and requires careful scientific evaluation of the progeny. And the last one is the testing, releasing and commercialization of the new cultivars. The newly selected lines are evaluated for the yield and other agronomic traits of the quality, disease resistance, etc. This evaluation is done by growing this in the research field and recording their performance under ideal fertilizer application, irrigation and other crop management practices. India is mainly an agriculture country. Agriculture accounts for approximately 33% of India's GDP and employs nearly 62% of the population. After India's independence, one of the main challenges facing the country was the producing enough food for increasing population, as only limited land is fit for cultivation. India has to strive to increase the yield per unit area from existing farmland. The development of several high-yielding varieties of wheat and rice in mid-1960s as a result of various plant breeding techniques led to dramatic increase in food production in our country. And this phase is, as we referred earlier, it is called the Green Revolution, and these are the examples of some Indian hybrid crops like maize, wheat, garden peas. Plant breeding for disease resistance. A wide range of fungal, bacterial and viral pathogens affect the yield of the cultivated crop species, especially in tropical climates. Crop losses can often be significant, up to 20 to 30%, or sometimes even total. In this situation, breeding and development of cultivars resistant to the disease enhances food production. This also helps reduce the dependence on use of fungicides and bactericides. Resistance of the host plant is the ability to prevent the pathogen from causing disease and is determined by the genetic constitution of the host plant. Before breeding is undertaken, it is very important to know about the causative organism and the mode of transmission. Some of the diseases caused by fungi are listed. Example, brown rust of wheat, red rot of sugarcane, late blight of potato by bacteria, black rot of crucifers and by viruses, tobacco mosaic, turnip mosaic, etc. Methods for breeding for disease resistance. The various sequential steps are: the first one, screening germplasm for the resistant sources. Hybridization of selected parents. Third one, selection and evaluation of the hybrid. And the last one, testing and release of the new varieties. Here you can see some of the crop varieties bred by hybridization and selection for the resistant to disease. You can see the crops of wheat, brassica, cauliflower, cowpea and chili. So Himagiri is a hybrid variety of wheat which is resistant to disease, leaf and stripe rust and hill bundle. Pusa Swarnim is a variety of brassica which is resistant to the disease white rust. Pusa Subra and Pusa Snowball K1 is a varieties of cauliflower which are resistant to black rot, curl, blight, black rot, etc. Pusa Komal is a variety of cowpea which is resistant to bacterial blight. Pusa Sadabahar is a resistant variety of chili to chili mosaic virus, tobacco mosaic virus and leaf curl. Mutation and mutation breeding. Conventional breeding is often constrained by the availability of limited number of disease-resistant genes that are present and identified in various crop varieties or wild relatives. Inducing mutations in plants through diverse means and then screening the plant material for resistance sometimes lead to desirable genes being identified. What is mutation? Mutation is the process by which genetic variation are created through changes in the base sequence within the gene. We have already studied in previous chapters about the mutation. And these mutations resulting in creation of new characters or traits not found in the parental type. It is possible to induce mutations artificially through use of chemicals or radiations like gamma radiation and selecting and using the plants that have desirable character as a source in breeding. This process is called mutation breeding. In mung bean, resistant to yellow mosaic virus and powdery mildew are induced by mutations. Plant breeding for developing resistance to insect pest. Another major cause for large-scale destruction of crop plants and crop produce is insect and pest infestation. Insect resistance in the host crop plants may be due to morphological, biochemical or physiological characteristics. Breeding methods for insect pest resistance involve the same step as those for any other agronomic traits such as yield or quality and are as discussed above. Sources of the resistant genes may be cultivated varieties, germplasm collection of the crop or wild relatives. These are some crop varieties bred by hybridization and selection for insect pest resistance. Pusa Gaurav is a brassica variety which is resistant to the insect aphid. Pusa Sem2 and Pusa Sem3 are varieties of flat bean which are resistant to the insects like drasids, aphids and fruit borer. Pusa Swani and Pusa A4 are varieties of okra, that is bindi, which is resistant to the insect like shoot and fruit borer. Plant breeding for improved food quality. More than 840 million people in the world do not have adequate food to meet their daily food and nutritional requirements. A far greater number, 3 billion people, suffer from micronutrient, protein and vitamin deficiency or hidden hunger because they cannot afford to buy enough fruits, vegetables, legumes, fish and meat. Diets lacking essential micronutrients, particularly iron, vitamin A, iodine and zinc, increase the risk for disease and reduce the lifespan and reduce the mental ability. So here come biofortification. What is biofortification? It is the breeding of crops with a higher level of vitamins and minerals or higher protein and healthier fat and is important practical means to improve the public health. Breeding for improved nutritional quality is undertaken with the objectives of improving the protein content and quality, the oil content and quality, the vitamin content, and the last one, the micronutrient and mineral content. What are single-cell proteins? Conventional agriculture production of cereals, pulses, vegetables, fruits, etc. may not be able to meet the demand of food at the rate at which human and animal population is increasing. A shift from grain to meat diet also creates more demand for cereals, as it takes 3 to 10 kg of grain to produce 1 kg of meat by animal farming. More than 25% of human population is suffering from hunger and malnutrition. One of the alternate sources of the protein for animal and human nutrition is single-cell protein. What is single-cell protein? It is the dried microbial cells or total protein extracted from pure microbial cell culture like algae, bacteria, filamentous fungi, yeast, which can be used as a food supplement to humans, that is food grade, or animals, that is feed grade. These microbes are being grown on an industrial scale as a source of good protein. Microbes like spirulina can be grown easily on materials like wastewater from potato processing plants because it contains starch, straw, molasses, animal manure and even sewage to produce large quantities and can serve as food rich in proteins, minerals, fats, carbohydrate and vitamins. Incidentally, such utilization also reduces the environmental pollution. Tissue culture. If traditional breeding techniques fail to keep pace with demand and to provide sufficiently fast and efficient system for crop improvement, another technology called tissue culture got developed. It was learned by scientists during 1950. The whole plant could be regenerated from the explant. That is, any part of a plant taken out and grown in a test tube under sterile conditions in special nutrient media. This capacity to generate a whole plant from any cell or explant is called totipotency. It is important to stress here that the nutrient medium must provide a carbon source such as sucrose and also inorganic salts, vitamins, amino acid and growth regulators like auxins, cytokines, etc. By application of these methods, it is possible to achieve propagation of a large number of plants in a very short duration. And this method of producing thousands of plants through tissue culture is called micropropagation. Each of these plants will be genetically identical to the original plant from which they are grown, and they are called soma clones. Many important food plants like tomato, banana, apple, etc. have been produced on commercial scale using this method. Another important application of the method is the recovery of the healthy plants from the diseased plants. Although the plant is infected with a virus, the meristem, that is apical or axillary, is free of virus. Hence, one can remove the meristem and grow it in vitro to obtain virus-free plants. Scientists have succeeded in culturing meristems of banana, sugarcane, potato, etc. Scientists have even been isolated single cells from plants and after digesting their cell walls have been able to isolate the naked protoplast. It is surrounded by the plasma membrane. Isolated protoplastos from two different varieties of plants, each having a desirable characters, can be fused to get hybrid protoplasts, which can be further grown to form a new plant. These hybrids are called somatic hybrids, while the process is called somatic hybridization. Thank you. This I am winding up the chapter Strategies for Enhancement in Food Production.